So how electromagnetic fields, radiation used in modern technology affect our body, and how the surrounding environment interact with our body. So basically, everything around us, whether we can feel it, see it, or we cannot see it and feel it. These waves of your cell phones, you don't see it, right? But it makes your phone ring, and it makes your Wi-Fi give you all this information and give you that electricity that we power our devices, but you don't see it, right? So how these surrounding environment affect us, whether we see it or we don't see it. So going to the fundamentals, which is what I was going to say, I'm going to take you deep for 1 minute so you can see the picture. So our life is between balanced state or disturbed state. If we're healthy, we're balanced. If we are sick, we're disturbed. So everything in life, in the universe, is between these two states. If the moon went a little bit far from the Earth, you have disturbances in the environment. If the sun came closer, we might end up burning all of us, you know. If the plant took some extra water, it will die. If it didn't have any water, it will die. So it's a matter of balance and disturbance, even in our life, health, and everything else. Okay. So what is the fundamentals that matter? This matter, air, gas, and electromagnetic waves. What does that matter? So these are the three. Sorry,
It's okay.
these are the three elements that physics scientists describe matter. You have the first one, which is E equal mc. This is the equation of Einstein, which is saying that energy equal mass multiplied by the speed of light. Okay. And the second one is the string theory, which is basically so the first one basically includes that energy and mass are the same. So waves are mass, but it just has specific compression and component that makes it solid to us. And then the string theory is this theory in physics that says that like everything, when you go to the micro from the atom, it's about vibrating string. Like everything is a vibrating string in its essence. And the last thing is waves. So this is what physics tells us. So accordingly, they all give to the same result, which is we are a vibration state. Whether we see it, whether we feel it, whether how solid it is, at the end, its core, it is waves. That's science. No one can argue about that. So vibration, when we try to measure it in the scientific field, we refer it and measure it by frequency. Okay? You're measuring the frequency of your microwave or your cell phone or the cable electricity, it's by a frequency. Have a wavelength. And accordingly, if everything leads to vibration and a frequency, then the human body is composed of just different frequencies. Okay? At the end, it's a wave, it's a frequency. Whether it results as a frequency that we hear, you guys are hearing my sound right now. It's a sound frequency. You're able to see me. You're literally, if you're seeing something, you're literally seeing a huge, massive amount of waves, and the spectrum of the Earth makes it materialize into a shape that you feel. But guess what? If you hold your hand right now like this, and you make like this, okay? You feel as your hand just stopped in something solid, right? But actually, science tells you no, you didn't touch something solid. You literally, the most smaller particles in your hand, that electron that's moving around the atom, it's moving in an empty space. And you're literally feeling the repulsion of that energy of the electron in that hand with the other hand that's pushing each other. So there's no solid matter that touches solid matter right now. You didn't touch solid matter. You're basically touching waves. It's exactly the easiest way to imagine it. Imagine a fan that's moving very fast. And if you put your hand, trying to put it in between these ends, it will push it. You can be like putting your finger at it. Right? Almost the same way. This is matter. But in a very fast aspect, in a very small size particles, that when we do try to sense it, it's sensed as a solid state. So we are all waves. Can you believe that? Seriously, it is. It's a fact. So frequency is our state. So frequency is a state, human state that's either balanced or disturbed. So right now, let's say Aurora feels very healthy right now. Okay? So that means if we try to analyze these frequencies, trying to break down your frequencies, then we say your wavelength are balanced. Okay? Let's say Teresa is feeling sick. If we're able to measure these frequencies, we'll measure it and we realize that there's disturbance in some of her frequencies that's causing that sickness. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is just a diagram showing that the human body, in that case, if it's all about frequency, then all of this we are composed of like billions of different frequencies. And the surrounding environment is composed of billions of other different frequencies. So how we interact, literally, this is how we interact. Emotions, there are emotions around us, states, there are mental states, there are spiritual states, there are physical states, air, food, are different type of frequencies that interact with the human frequencies and gives another third product of that. So, meaning air with all these frequencies interact with the human frequency of air, which composed of some substances that's represented in the lungs, in the oxygen, in the body, different state, and comes out and it's different sort of air, which is carbon dioxide, giving it back to the environment, which has different type of frequencies to consume that new energy. Let's say plants taking the carbon dioxide and taking it into different states. So energy is one state that's just moving between different spectrums. Emotions. You're feeling happy today and you meet someone who's really sad. You're either gonna affect him to make him happy from his sad state, or he's gonna affect you from your happiness to become a sad state. That's an exchange of energy, and this is what is happening. Even mental, on a mental state, you are having specific thoughts, and someone having different thoughts, conflicting, you end up getting, either you are so convinced with your thoughts and affected, or you're gonna be affected. Our food, we eat, it interacts with our body, we think, we feel physically better, and we have also a new state of reactions. So that's basically the diagram expressing how frequency around us with our frequencies leading into different frequencies. We're not out of this, but we just see it and sense it with these 5 senses into a specific way. But in reality, it's all about frequencies. So, coming back to the electromagnetic of the modern technology, which are in our lives so much right now, between like broadcast towers, create frequencies in the air, so we are able to use the antenna, TV, listen to the radio, the radar, the power lines, Wi-Fi. It's all of this wire technology that uses the electromagnetic fields, but in a very strong amount. But it really affects us. Now, it's just coming right now in the last 10 years that that kind of technology is being erased as being pollution to the environment and to our health. There's tons of studies proving that it affects our health negatively, and a lot of studies including like a lot of health effects, including from little distortion to feeling like not good, feeling sick, to the point of like having cancer in many different ways. And there's tons of studies and references that also at the end of the presentation I will share with you guys. So just to explain what is the frequency of the modern technology comparing to the frequency of the human body. So our human body is averagely, when it's measured, it concludes all your body from the most smallest cells to the full body. It is in the range of 65 hertz, which is 65 wave per second. Okay, that's the number. Now, when we look at the average amount of electromagnetic frequency produced by a cell tower antenna, it's 1800 megahertz, which is 1,800,000,000 hertz, which is wave per second. So almost 2 billion. So if we thought about like if a 2 billion wave came close to a 65 wave, would it make a difference on it? Would it affect it? What do you think? Would it affect it? Like someone who's running so fast, basically impacting with another person who's just walking so slow, and they just hit each other. What do you think would happen? Total destruction from this one to this, okay? And I will give you another example that shows you this, how much it affects. So if you are okay, you go on an airplane and they tell you close your cell phone, right? Why they tell you close your cell phone? Because the radar of the airplane has a navigation system. Uses electromagnetic waves that basically it's throw it in the air, and any object that it's around, the wave comes back to the system telling there's an object, okay? And your phone does the same, has a wave that's throwing it somewhere. So if the wave of the phone came out and it was close to the navigation system of the airplane, what it will do to give it a false message. It will tell us, oh, maybe there's an object that's not existing. Or it will show it, there's an actual object that will show there's no object. So what happened? Getting false information to the airplane that it actually might end up going somewhere else or impacting with somewhere else. So, and these two waves that disturb each other between the cell phone and the airplane are equal in an equal spectrum. Like maybe 2 billion was a 2 billion. You see? So they affect each other when they are big and strong. So what would that do to that little one? Okay? When you have in your car the radio and you go through under a power line, don't you have you ever had guys happen that like you see the radio went disturbed and then went back after you passed? It's because that the electromagnetic field around the electric power line disturbed the wave that's coming to the radio that made it lost the channel. So if our body